Hello demigods, monsters, and gods alike. Welcome to the Olympus Report. Let's take a look at the newest addition to the Riordanverse, Percy Jackson and the Wrath of the Triple Goddess. Wrath of the Triple Goddess is an extraordinarily well-written book. Rick just keeps getting better and better with each new entry. Wrath of the Triple Goddess picks up right where Chalice of the Gods left off, and I don't mean in just story. This book, like Chalice of the Gods, continues to explore deeper meanings, themes, and messages. Where Chalice of the Gods focused on embracing the past but being okay to move on, Wrath of the Triple Goddess drives home the themes of forgiveness, trust, and teamwork. Holding on to resentment and hate will destroy you physically and mentally. We need to learn not only to forgive others, but to forgive ourselves as well. We see this in many characters, one being Hecate, who finally lets go of the past and reopens her school. We also see this in the character Hecuba, who thanks to Percy finally finds peace with her past and can let go of her pain and begin moving forward, finding new meaning in life with hellhound puppy Nope. And by helping Hecuba, Percy realizes that he needs to forgive Grover for destroying the house and releasing the animals. Grover is Percy's best friend, and yes, he made a mistake, but Grover would do anything for Percy, and Percy comes to realize this. It's okay to be angry, but it's more important to talk and work it out. And that brings us to our second theme of trust. Trust is so important because without it, we're alone. And as we come to see in this story, you can't do everything alone. You need to rely on your friends and others. We must earn trust from others, but we must also learn to give trust, maybe to people we wouldn't necessarily think to trust. Percy must trust Gale to save Annabeth and Grover, and Gale in turn has to trust that Percy will keep his word. This is a super powerful scene that shows us the power that trust can have. And that brings us to our last theme of teamwork. When you trust others and they trust you back, they would do anything for you. Yes, Percy is strong, but often the situations in this book can't be solved with brute strength. Percy needs Annabeth and Grover, and in turn, they also need him. In the final battle, Percy says,
"Hey, wise girl," I said, trying to keep the panic out of my voice. "Be wise. I don't know much, but I do know we're stronger together. Always."
And it's so true. We're more powerful together. Friends make you stronger. They're there to pick you up when you're down. Everyone has flaws. No one's perfect. But maybe together we can get a little closer to perfect, as Percy puts here.
I gotta believe we're a good team because we make each other's fatal flaws into slightly less fatal flaws. Like, maybe even fatal strengths. Grover's fatal flaw is apparently strawberry milkshakes, right? But sometimes life gives you strawberry milkshakes. Then you gotta count on your friends to look out for you. We're a team.
And that's the best part of this book, the friendship between Percy, Annabeth, and Grover. Whenever they were bantering on the page, I had a smile on my face. After everything they went through, it's good to see them having a little fun and living semi-normal lives. My favorite part of this book was that it took place on Halloween. I think this was a fun and interesting twist from someone who really loves Halloween. I also really liked how they brought back up that you shouldn't invoke a god's name.
"No, I didn't call," I said. "Why?" "I heard you speak my name," said the lion, "more times than usual. Is everything all right?" I should have known better than to use her name so often. That tends to get a god's attention.
I feel like this hasn't been brought up in a really long time and has kind of been forgotten. Percy just uses God's names whenever he wants, so I like that we were reminded of this rule. I also like how Eudora brought up that not everyone fits in at the camps.
All I wanted to do was help. So many talented young people in the world, and they don't all fit in the demigod camps.
A topic I've always found really interesting. What are other safe places for heroes? And I like that this book expounded upon that. So a lot of really good things with this book. But with that being said, I couldn't help but feel disappointed. Not to say that I didn't like the book, because I really did. I just wanted more. Chalice of the Gods and Wrath of the Triple Goddess read more like the Riordan-verse short stories published in Demigod Files and Demigod Diaries than they do like actual books. I think I'm more used to the grandeur of the original 5 Percy Jackson books, the Heroes of Olympus and the Trials of Apollo. These are very condensed stories in comparison, and I think one of the reasons why is the fact that they're prequels. They take place before the Trials of Apollo, so there's a limit to what Rick can and cannot write without breaking canon. And I think this hurts the story because there's no suspense. We know that Percy, Annabeth, and Grover lived. So as you're reading scenes of Percy trapped in a burning building with octopus arms, we know everything is going to be okay because obviously Percy in the Trials of Apollo does not have octopus arms. And also, since the story is a prequel, it can't advance the story. Unlike The Sun and the Star, which I think is basically a perfect book, which showed us where our characters are currently and how they're doing. This book was suspenseful because we had nothing that took place after it. Nico or Will could have very much died. But my biggest issue with Wrath of the Triple Goddess is I think it was a missed opportunity on Rick's part. There was so much potential to expand and expound upon other characters besides just Percy, Annabeth, and Grover. Hazel has a history with Hecate and Gale, and I think even an Iris message to Hazel would have helped this small story feel bigger. And I think this was a huge missed opportunity to not bring in characters like Alabaster, a son of Hecate banished from Camp Half-Blood. Bringing him in could have expanded this story so much, giving us new information that we didn't already know. A way to continue and expand the world even though this story is a prequel. It could have made this story more meaningful. And also, where the heck was Nico? There was absolutely no reason for him not to be in this story. Percy, Annabeth, and Grover are gonna summon the dead and they don't think to even ask Nico about it? They didn't even think of him once. And why didn't he show up with the rest of the Half-Bloods at the end? Nico is definitely at camp during this time. To me, it almost feels like Rick just kind of forgot about him. And I still cannot believe we haven't gotten one reference to Apollo being missing. Also, one thing that had me really confused, in the House of Hades, Gale is free to roam and visit Hazel. But in this book, she's not allowed to leave the house, unless on a leash. And at the first chance she gets, she tries to escape. So did something happen that made Hecate become more strict with the polecat? I feel like this should have been explained. There's also some mistake and continuity errors in this book. Percy brings up Leo Valdez, which normally I would be a huge fan of, because I've always said I wanted more Percy and Leo content. But the way Leo was used just didn't make sense within the timeline.
I'd barely been able to master numbers and colors in Spanish, even with my friend Leo Valdez as a tutor.
This book takes place before the Trials of Apollo, the Hidden Oracle, where it was stated that Leo has been missing since the Blood of Olympus. So when exactly did Leo find time to tutor Percy in Spanish? When they were on the Argo 2 fighting for their lives? Something tells me that homework was the last thing on Percy's mind. This book also reintroduces a character introduced in The Lost Hero, Clovis. In The Lost Hero, Clovis is introduced as being a son of Hypnos, the god of sleep. In this book, Percy says he's the son of Morpheus, god of dreams. And this isn't the first time that Rick Riordan has gotten these two gods confused. In The Last Olympian, it was Morpheus who put the city of Manhattan to sleep. But yet, in The Sun and the Star, it's mentioned that Hypnos was the god who put the city to sleep. So I think that Rick needs to keep better track of these two gods. Overall, a really enjoyable book and a lot of really good stuff in there. I just feel like it could have been more. And personally, I liked Chalice of the Gods more. But let me know what you thought about the newest book down below. And until next time, I'll be signing off. And please, as always, stay safe.